What if you could become completely invisible to negativity, not just from toxic people, but from the stress, drama, and chaos that constantly tries to hijack your peace? Imagine walking into a room filled with tension and gossip, but nothing touches you. The anger, the stress, the criticism, they simply slide past you like wind passing around a mountain. This is not fantasy. This is what Ibn Arabi, one of the greatest masters of spiritual wisdom, called spiritual invisibility. He taught that there is a way to create a kind of invisible shield around your consciousness, a way of living where negativity no longer sticks to you, no longer drains you, no longer scatters your mind. And this isn't about hiding from life or avoiding difficult people. It's about becoming so deeply rooted in divine alignment that you can move through the world fully present, fully awake, and completely untouched by the storms around you. Think about your daily life for a moment. How many times do you feel weighed down by the mood of a place? How often do you find yourself absorbing the stress, anger, or pessimism of people around you? Co-workers, family, strangers online? You carry it without realizing it. You go home tired, irritated, restless, not knowing why. You think it's just life, but what's really happening is that your consciousness is collecting other people's emotional garbage. Ibn Arabi's teaching was revolutionary because he showed that this is not inevitable. Negativity does not have to own you. It does not have to stick to you. You can remain completely clear and grounded no matter what chaos surrounds you. The secret lies in understanding how consciousness works. Ibn Arabi taught that negativity can only affect you if your consciousness is vibrating on the same frequency as that negativity. If you stay on the level of fear, anger, and reactivity, you are like a radio tuned to a station that plays nothing but noise and static. You will keep hearing the same negativity everywhere you go. But the moment you tune your consciousness to a higher frequency, a frequency of peace, love, divine trust, the noise becomes inaudible. The negativity is still there, but it cannot reach you. And Ibn Arabi didn't just speak in metaphors. He gave a practical step-by-step method to raise your spiritual vibration and create this invisible shield. Step 1. Divine alignment. Before stepping into the world, Ibn Arabi said you must first align yourself with the divine. This is not just positive thinking. It is an intentional inner shift. He taught sacred phrases of remembrance, not to be repeated mechanically but with full attention, until your entire being feels attuned to divine qualities like peace, compassion, and clarity. Think of this like tuning an instrument. Before a concert, a musician tunes every string to perfect pitch so the instrument can play harmoniously. Divine alignment tunes your consciousness to the pitch of divine presence so that anything discordant cannot stay in resonance with you. Step 2. Transparent presence. Once you are aligned, Ibn Arabi said the next step is to become transparent. Imagine your inner being becoming like crystal clear glass. When anger, hostility, or jealousy is directed at you, there is no surface for it to stick to. Instead of your ego reacting, fighting back, resisting, taking it personally, the energy simply passes through. You still notice what is happening. You stay aware and engaged, but you no longer let that energy enter your system and poison your peace. This is not weakness. This is extraordinary strength. Anyone can shout back, argue back, get pulled into the drama. But it takes spiritual mastery to stay present, clear, and calm, to refuse to absorb what is not yours. Step 3. Sacred circulation. Finally, Ibn Arabi taught that consciousness must stay in flow. He compared the heart to a spring of water. When water flows, it stays pure and clear. When it stagnates, it becomes cloudy and polluted. If you hold on to resentment, replay hurtful conversations in your mind, or store bitterness in your heart, you create spiritual stagnation, and stagnation attracts more negativity. Sacred circulation means consciously releasing whatever negativity you encounter during the day and replacing it with remembrance of divine beauty, mercy, and wisdom. This daily cleansing keeps your inner space clear, making you even less vulnerable to toxic energy over time. But Ibn Arabi's most profound insight was about the very nature of evil. He taught that evil is not an active force. It is the absence of divine presence. Just like darkness is simply the absence of light. You don't fight darkness by wrestling with it. You turn on the light, and darkness disappears on its own. In the same way, you don't have to fight negative people, gossip, or hostile energy. You simply have to increase the light of divine presence in your consciousness. Negativity cannot survive where divine light is strong. And here is where Ibn Arabi completely reframes how we look at our challenges. Difficult people are no longer seen as enemies to defeat. They become teachers, spiritual gym equipment that helps you build your capacity for alignment and transparency. Every time you encounter a toxic situation and refuse to let it disturb you, your shield grows stronger. Every time you hold your peace in the presence of anger, you raise your vibration higher. This is why Ibn Arabi said that the most challenging people in your life may secretly be among your greatest blessings, because they give you the opportunity to practice and perfect this spiritual invisibility. But he warned that the practice must be sincere. If you try to use it as a trick to feel superior, to manipulate others, or to escape responsibility, it will not work. Spiritual protection only activates when your intention is pure, when you seek it not to hide from life, but to stay connected to the divine so you can fulfill your highest purpose. And here's the amazing part. When you become invisible to negativity, you simultaneously become more visible to everything that is good. You begin to attract positive opportunities, supportive relationships, and moments of grace. Your life starts to align with what Ibn Arabi called the divine current, events, people, and situations that move you toward your spiritual destiny. Modern science is starting to catch up to what Ibn Arabi taught centuries ago. Psychologists have proven that most of us unconsciously catch the emotions of the people around us, a phenomenon called emotional contagion. But research shows that people who practice meditation, prayer, or deep mindfulness are much less reactive and much less likely to absorb the negativity of others. Neuroscientists have discovered that certain spiritual practices actually rewire the brain, strengthening the areas responsible for emotional regulation and weakening the areas that trigger reactive anger and fear. In other words, spiritual invisibility is not just mystical language. It might actually correspond to measurable changes in your nervous system. Ibn Arabi's students didn't need brain scans to confirm it. They experienced it. They reported working in hostile workplaces without being drained. They walked through dangerous neighborhoods with a strange sense of protection. They interacted with aggressive people and noticed those people calming down, or sometimes not even noticing them at all. But Ibn Arabi reminded them, these effects are not the goal. The goal is to stay connected to divine guidance, to stay clear enough to hear what God is calling you to do, to remain focused on the purpose of your existence. Because negativity's greatest trick is distraction. It makes you waste your energy reacting to drama instead of fulfilling your mission. Spiritual invisibility breaks that cycle. The practice is simple but powerful. Each morning, put on your divine armor. Align your heart and mind with divine presence before you face the day. Throughout the day, keep returning to transparent presence, letting negativity pass through like wind through open hands. And at night, cleanse your heart through sacred circulation, releasing anything that might have settled inside you so you go to sleep clear and unburdened. If you do this consistently, Ibn Arabi promised, your entire life will transform. You will not only protect your own inner state, you will start to radiate so much peace that you actually raise the vibration of the spaces you enter. People will feel calmer around you, situations will feel lighter, and this is the true goal. Not just surviving the negativity of the world, but becoming a living channel of divine light within it. You stop being a victim of what happens around you and start becoming a source of healing, wisdom, and clarity, simply by the quality of presence you bring. That is the power of spiritual invisibility.